There is a theory that souls do not age, that the body is merely a temporary vessel, a rented costume, while the essence inside carries memories older than the calendar. Most people move through their lives believing in the tyranny of numbers. They look at birth years the way one looks at expiration dates, assuming that proximity in time equals compatibility and distance in time equals impossibility. But the universe has never read the rulebook written by human insecurity. And right now, Virgo, the universe is staging a collision that defies every social convention, every logical expectation, every neat little box that people try to shove attraction into. Someone younger is completely fixated on you, not curious, not casually interested, not experiencing a fleeting crush that will burn itself out once they meet someone their own age. No. This is a fixation so total, so consuming, so disruptive to their carefully constructed life that they are beginning to question their own sanity. They are lying awake at night, staring at ceilings, replaying moments with you that you probably do not even remember as significant. They are seeing your face in strangers on the street. They are hearing your voice in songs that have nothing to do with you. They are carrying on conversations with you inside their head, rehearsing things they want to say, analyzing things they wish they had said differently, constructing elaborate fantasies of proximity that they are terrified to act upon and equally terrified to release. They cannot get you out of their head, and they have stopped trying. Virgo, I need you to understand the magnitude of what is happening to this person, because understanding it is going to prepare you for the moment when they finally break cover and make their move. This is not the garden variety admiration of a younger colleague, a junior friend, or someone who looks up to you as a mentor figure. That would be clean. That would be simple. That would fit neatly into a category that society recognizes and tolerates. But what is happening here refuses categories. It is messier than mentorship and more profound than infatuation. It is a soul-level recognition that has hijacked their nervous system, and the age difference between you is not a deterrent to their obsession. It is fuel. It is part of what makes you incomprehensibly magnetic to them. You represent something they have never touched before, a depth, a gravity, a stillness in a world that has only ever shown them chaos disguised as excitement. Let me tell you who this person is, because the details matter. They move in circles that are faster than yours, louder than yours, more performative than yours. Their world is built on velocity, on trends, on the relentless pressure to be seen, to be current, to be constantly proving relevance through noise. They are surrounded by people their own age who communicate in fragments, who relate through screens, who mistake volume for substance and availability for intimacy. And until they met you, Virgo, they thought that was all there was. They thought the shallow end was the entire pool. They thought connection meant matching energy levels, trading memes, staying up until 4 a.m, having conversations that evaporated by sunrise. They did not know that there was an ocean beneath the puddle. They did not know that someone could listen the way you listen, that someone could see them the way you see them, that someone could hold space without filling it with unnecessary words, without demanding performance, without requiring them to be anything other than exactly who they are in that moment. You shattered their paradigm, Virgo, and they have been trying to glue the pieces back together ever since. But the cracks remain. Because once a person has seen the depth of an ocean, the puddle is no longer enough. Once they have tasted food that was actually cooked, they cannot go back to eating straight from the microwave. You have ruined their tolerance for superficiality, and they are furious with you for it. Furious and obsessed. It is a delicious torture. They resent you for raising the bar so high that everyone else now looks like a stick figure drawn in crayon. They resent you for being so thoroughly yourself that their own attempts at pretense feel childish in comparison. And yet they cannot stop returning to the memory of you the way a tongue returns to a sore tooth. They are addicted to the ache. I am seeing the mechanics of their obsession with disturbing clarity. They know your schedule better than you might think. Not in a threatening way, not in a dangerous way, but in the way that someone who is starving memorizes the location of every bakery on their route to work. They know when you are likely to be at certain places. They have engineered coincidences that you interpreted as chance. That time you bumped into them at the coffee shop when you were running late, that was not an accident. They had been there for an hour, nursing a cold drink, waiting for the probability of your arrival to collapse into certainty. That event you both attended, where they seemed to always be in your peripheral vision, that was not coincidence. They were orbiting you like a planet that has found its sun, unable to escape the gravity, unable to get close enough to burn. They study you, Virgo. They study the way you move your hands when you are explaining something complicated. They study the cadence of your speech, the particular rhythm of your silence, the way your eyes narrow slightly when you are thinking and do not want to be interrupted. They have cataloged your preferences with a precision that would shock you. They know how you take your tea or your coffee. They know the authors you reference. They know the music that drifts from your space when you think no one is listening. They have created a shrine inside their mind, not out of creepiness, but out of reverence. You have become their standard. Their impossible standard, the measuring stick against which every potential romantic interest is evaluated and found catastrophically lacking. And their friends are noticing. Their friends are worried. Their friends are telling them to snap out of it, to find someone their own age, to stop fixating on someone who probably sees them as a child, as irrelevant, as a passing blip on the radar of a fully formed adult life. But the advice bounces off. It cannot penetrate the force field of their fixation because this is not logical. This is not something that can be reasoned away with spreadsheets of appropriate age gaps or social expectations. This is cellular. This is the body recognizing something that the mind cannot explain. This is the soul reaching across the illusion of time to touch something familiar. And the more their friends push, the more defensive they become. The more they withdraw into the private temple of their obsession, guarding it, nurturing it, feeding it with every stolen glance and every remembered word. Virgo, I want you to understand what you represent to this person because it is going to explain why they cannot let go. You are not just attractive to them. You are a repudiation of everything they were told to value in their world. Youth is currency. Beauty is performative. Intelligence is performative. Even vulnerability is performative, packaged into bite-sized revelations designed to garner sympathy and likes. But you do not perform. You simply are. Your beauty is not an act. Your intelligence is not a competition. Your vulnerability is not content. You carry yourself with the kind of self-possession that cannot be faked, the kind that only comes from having survived things, from having built yourself piece by piece, from having learned the difference between noise and signal. And to this younger person who is exhausted by the endless performance of their generation, you are the signal. You are the only clear frequency in a world of static. They are fixated on your hands, Virgo, on the way they know things without being told, on the way they create order from chaos, on the way they touch objects with intention, as if everything in your vicinity is being subtly improved just by passing through your awareness. They are fixated on your voice, on its particular frequency, on the way it grounds them in a way that no meditation app or anxiety medication ever could. They have played recordings of you speaking in their head so many times that the memory has become more real than some of their actual experiences. They are fixated on your standards, on the way you do not tolerate foolishness, on the way you see through pretense, on the way you demand excellence, not from others, but from yourself, and how that demand radiates outward and makes everyone around you want to be better. And here is what is keeping them awake at night, Virgo. Here is the thought that is cycling on an endless loop in their consciousness. They are terrified that they are not enough, not because you have told them so, not because you have done anything to make them feel small, but because standing next to you, even in memory, makes them acutely aware of everything they have not yet become. You are the future they are afraid they will never grow into. You are the maturity they are not sure they can achieve. You are the depth they are terrified is beyond their reach. And yet, they cannot stop reaching. They cannot stop wanting to be the person who deserves to stand beside you. Not as a student, not as a protege, not as a younger admirer to be gently patted on the head and sent on their way, but as an equal, as a partner, as someone who has earned the right to hold your attention for longer than a conversation. They have tried to cure themselves of you, Virgo. Do not doubt that. They have gone on dates with people who check every conventional box. Same generation, same references, same cultural language, same social circles. And every single time, the experiment has ended in disaster. Not because the other people were terrible, but because they were not you. Because halfway through dinner, this younger person would find themselves comparing their date's laughter to yours and finding it grating, comparing their date's opinions to yours and finding them thin, comparing their date's energy to yours and finding it exhausting instead of nourishing. They have become impossible to satisfy because you have set a standard that no one their own age can meet. You have ruined them for their own generation, and they know it, and part of them hates you for it, but a larger part is grateful because for the first time in their life, they know what is possible. They know what real feels like, and they cannot unknow it. I am seeing their dreams, Virgo. I am seeing the subconscious territory where their fixation has built a permanent residence. They dream of you in symbols, of houses they cannot enter, of doors that open into rooms where you are waiting, of conversations that last for dream hours, covering topics that their waking mind would be too intimidated to broach. They wake up from these dreams with their heart racing, with an ache in their chest that feels like homesickness for a place they have never been, and they lie there in the dark, trying to convince themselves that it is just a crush, just a phase, just the allure of the unattainable. But their body knows that this is not a phase. Their body knows that something ancient has been activated, and their mind is slowly, reluctantly beginning to agree. Their social media is a graveyard of clues, Virgo. If you were to look, if you were to truly look with the eyes of someone who knows what to search for, you would see it. The songs they posted hours that suggest insomnia, the quotes about longing that seem generic but that you would recognize as specific to your dynamic, the photos of places you have mentioned wanting to visit, the subtle, almost invisible thread of references that all lead back to you, woven into their digital presence like a secret language only you were meant to decode. They are communicating with you in code, broadcasting on a frequency they hope you will tune into, too afraid to speak directly but too obsessed to remain silent. And Virgo, their fixation is about to reach a breaking point. I am seeing the pressure building inside them like steam in a sealed chamber. The denial is no longer sustainable. The pretense is cracking. They are approaching a moment of reckoning where the fear of never having tried will finally outweigh the fear of rejection. And when that moment comes, they are going to act in a way that defies their own nature. They are going to be brave in a way they have never been brave before, not because they have suddenly become confident, but because the alternative, living the rest of their life wondering, has become more terrifying than any humiliation you could inflict. They are going to approach you, Virgo, and it is not going to be subtle. It is not going to be a casual text or a friendly coffee invitation disguised as coincidence. They have moved past the point where subtlety serves them. Their obsession has grown too large to fit inside a casual conversation. They are going to come to you with the full weight of what they feel. They are going to tell you that they cannot stop thinking about you, that they have tried, that they have fought it, that they have listed every reason why this should not matter, why this should not be real, why the age difference should be a wall too high to climb, and they are going to tell you that none of it worked, that the wall is made of paper, that their fixation is stronger than their fear, that they are willing to look foolish, to risk everything, to endure whatever judgment the world wants to throw at them if it means they finally get to be honest with you about what is happening inside them. And Virgo, here is what you need to understand about your own energy in all of this. You have felt it. You may not have named it. You may have dismissed it. You may have told yourself that you were imagining things, that the looks they gave you were just admiration, that the attention they paid was just youthful enthusiasm. But your body knew, your nervous system registered their fixation before your conscious mind was willing to interpret it. There have been moments when you felt their eyes on you like a physical touch, moments when the air between you seemed to thicken with something unspoken, moments when you found yourself adjusting your posture, your words, your energy in response to their presence without quite understanding why. That was not random. That was resonance. That was your field responding to the intensity of their focus. You are not immune to this, Virgo. That is the truth that might unsettle you. You have built a life of such competence, such self-sufficiency, such careful emotional architecture, that you have convinced yourself that you are beyond the reach of youthful obsession. You believe that your maturity insulates you from the chaos of younger passions, but what this person is offering, what their fixation is trying to communicate, is not chaos, it is recognition. And recognition is the one thing that can bypass every defense you have ever constructed. because at the core of your Virgo nature is a desire to be seen accurately, to be understood, to have the complexity of who you are witnessed and valued by someone who's capable of seeing it. And this younger person, for all their apparent inexperience, sees you with a clarity that has shocked even them. They see the way you hold yourself together when everything is falling apart. They see the way you serve others without making a performance of your sacrifice. They see the way you carry standards that most people have abandoned. They see the loneliness that hides behind your competence, the tenderness that hides behind your analysis, the longing that hides behind your productivity. They see it all, and their fixation is not just desire, it is a desire to be allowed into the fortress, to be trusted with the parts of you that you do not show to the world, to prove that despite their age, despite their generation, despite every expectation to the contrary, they are capable of meeting you where you live. I am seeing the specific gesture they are preparing, Virgo. It is going to be grand, not in a flashy way, not in a way that screams immaturity or desperation, but in a way that demonstrates the depth of their observation. They are going to offer you something that proves they have been paying attention. Not flowers, though there may be flowers. Not a generic gift, though there may be a gift. But something that references a conversation you forgot you had, a need you mentioned in passing, a dream you shared casually and assumed no one remembered. They are going to hand you proof that their fixation has been not just emotional, but deeply, meticulously attentive. And in that moment, you are going to be faced with a choice that has nothing to do with age and everything to do with courage. The world will have opinions, Virgo. If you choose to explore this, if you choose to see what exists beyond the fixation and beneath the obsession, people will talk. They will reduce this to cliches. They will assume you are having a crisis. They will assume this person is looking for a caretaker or a thrill. They will project every insecurity they have about age and power onto your connection. And you will have to decide whether their noise is louder than your knowing. You will have to decide whether you are willing to be seen as unconventional in order to be seen truly. But here is what I am channeling with absolute certainty. This fixation is not one-sided. It has found fertile ground in you because some part of you, some part you may have disowned or buried under the weight of responsibility and respectability, recognizes them too, not as a younger person to be managed, but as a soul that speaks a language you thought no one remembered. Their youth is not a deficit, it is a lens. Through their eyes, you are remembering parts of yourself that adulthood made you forget. The parts that play, the parts that risk, the parts that say yes to the impossible simply because it feels true. Virgo, they cannot get you out of their head. And the truth is, you have not been able to get them out of yours either. Not completely, not honestly. There is a reason you are hearing this message. There is a reason this reading found you now. The fixation is about to become a collision. The unspoken is about to demand voice. And the age difference that looks like a chasm from the outside is about to reveal itself as the thinnest of veils. When they come to you, and they will come, do not look at their birth year. Do not count the candles on their cake. Look at their eyes. Look at the recognition in them. Look at the fear they are overcoming to stand before you. Look at the obsession that has become a bridge across time and ask yourself not whether this makes sense by the world's standards, but whether it makes sense by the standard of your soul. Because the soul does not age, Virgo, it only recognizes what it has always known. And this soul, this younger soul that has been haunting your periphery, knows you. They have known you from the first moment, and they are done keeping it a secret. The door between you is not locked by time. It was only waiting for someone brave enough to turn the handle. They are reaching for it now. The question is not what they will do when the door opens. The question is what you will do when you see them standing on the other side, no longer young in the ways that matter, no longer separate in the ways that count, holding out their heart like a map to a place you have both been trying to find. Let them in, or don't. But do not pretend you do not hear the knock. The clock is ticking only for those who believe in time, and what is coming for you exists somewhere the clocks do not reach. Go now. The hallway is longer than you think, but the room at the end has been prepared. You will know it by the silence. By the way, the dust motes dance in the light that only falls when two people finally stop pretending they are not looking for each other. I will see you there, not in the next reading. But in the moment when you decide whether forever can start with someone the world thinks is too young to know what forever means, they know. They have always known. And now, so do you.